What is up, everybody, and welcome to Bullchat with Randy. Paddock presents the Baby Chat. This is number 6 on the Baby Chats, and this is going to be a fairly quick one. It's just something I've been thinking about. I'm calling it "Shut the Fuck Up." All right, so I was reading 12 Rules of Life by Jordan Peterson. It's a great book. You should check it out. And one of the rules, and just something I've been seeing a lot of places, is talking about listening and the art of listening and communication and conversation, and how that's kind of a dead thing these days and people can't listen. And if you would just shut the fuck up every once in a while and open your ears, things would be a lot better off. Sorry, Leroy's dropping toys and doing all kinds of shenanigans. So that's what I wanted to start off with, is that people can't have a conversation anymore. It's crazy. There's plenty of different reasons for it. One, people like to communicate through the internet, right? One of the things with technology is that you can use it all the time, so you don't have to really talk with people or even have good written communication. You can text, you drop into somebody's DM, you Snapchat, you do this stuff. The face-to-face communication and conversation is kind of out the window these days. Like even talking on the telephone, let alone the face-to-face. So people's conversation skills are not really practicing them a lot, so people can't have them. And then if someone has a different idea than you, like, people don't want to listen to that idea. They get stuck in their head what they think is right on whatever stance it is, no matter how little or how big it is. And then they just want to not listen when someone else is talking. They're thinking about what they're going to say next. They barge in, they try to talk over, they try to yell, intimidate, fucking the loudest ones, the smartest one type of shit. And nothing gets solved, and no problems ever get figured out, and policies don't get changed, and people continue to bitch, and it's this big old circle of whatever's going on. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what's happening these days. So, I think it's kind of, even like writing, I find myself, like, when I'm writing emails sometimes, like, I'm not writing clearly enough or using the correct punctuation because I'm so used to texting and things like that. So, I think just going back to being able to actually communicate with one another, it's how we were brought up, language, the written word, the spoken word, being able to, you make a point and then I stop, after you make a point, you stop and I talk, you listen, and then I make a point, you make a point, we listen to each other, and that's just kind of gone. And I think if we would just shut the fuck up sometimes and just have a conversation with no end game, no plot before you go in, not thinking this is what I want to happen, I want to manipulate this, and just with an open mind, we can kind of get better. And that's kind of the next little point, is you have to listen to be able to free your mind, right? What's the old saying? There's more than one way to skin a cat, right? And that, in this day and age, more than ever, I think that's extremely true. There's multiple solutions to every problem. And your solution that you've come to might not be the correct one. So you don't have to be a dick face about it and try to smash it all over everybody. What you need to do is shut your goddamn mouth, open your ears, and be open to suggestion. Shut your goddamn ego down and think, maybe this person's right. Instead of thinking, fuck this guy, or hate on them, or they're not qualified, or they're this, they're that, think, maybe they have a more efficient way or a better way to do something. So if you actually listen to people with an open mind, you're able to free your mind for more outcomes to different situations, different problems. And I think all in all, it just makes your life easier and the human, experience easier, because we're coming up with better ways to solve complex problems, or even not that complex a problem. Shit, I don't care if a 12-year-old that's better with technology gives me an easier way to work any goddamn doodad on my computer or on the internet or whatever. I'm taking it because I don't know dick. You know what I mean? I'm not thinking, oh, they're a 12-year-old. I'm thinking, yeah, 12-year-old. Tell me what's up. And I have the most open mind because I don't know what the hell is going on. Right? And you got to think about this. Everyone's picking a goddamn side about everything and digging their heels. And everyone's on a team. Everyone's on the tribe. Right? It doesn't matter what it is. So let's think about just a couple of things coming up, right? Politics is a big one. It's us versus them. You're a Democrat or you're a Republican, but it's not even that anymore. It's the extremes. You can't be a Democrat and you can't be a Republican. You're either far radical left or you're alt-right Nazi. There's no in between anymore. And if you identify as, well, I'm just conservative, nope, you're a fucking Nazi. If you're like, well, I'm just, a little bit liberal, nope, you're a psychopathic left-wing socialist fuckface. That's how we think these days. You know what I mean? And it's crazy because there's so much in between, and I think that you shouldn't align with either 100% because they're both fucked, right? I think the whole idea behind democracy and the whole idea behind freedom is you pick and choose what you like, and that's how you're able to make your decision. Not if I choose this from this side, but identify more as this side, then I'm out, or I'm this. Or I'm bad if I think something that you don't. If I think a little bit more conservative, I'm not, all of a sudden, I'm from the Stone Age and fuck you, you hate progression. Or if I like something more progressive, then you're a crazy hippie that's looking to be a socialist, and in USSR, right? Like, I don't believe that that's the case, but that's how everyone is, digging their heels. And think of this stupid goddamn with Trump and the this Kaepernick thing. Everyone's got a goddamn side. I know it's a little old now, but it's still coming up. Everyone's got a side. He kneels. He's this. How could Nike do that? We're boycotting. Who gives a shit? Right? The only good thing to come out of it was all those memes that came out. They were hilarious, right? My favorite one, there was two that was my favorite. One was of Louis C.K. and it's like risk everything, even if it means coming on everything. Hilarious. And the other best one was the Big Lebowski. It says, "Just do it or don't. Who gives a fuck?" Right? Like those were the best thing to come out of it. But how dug in so many people were on this stuff, it's crazy to me, right? You see it in the fitness industry, if it, in someone's diet, right? Oh, I'm ketogenic, and if you don't do that, you're going to die because you eat carbohydrates, you're going to get cancer and die. Oh, I'm a carnivore, so if you eat plants, you're not getting the most nutrients out of life and you're going to die. Oh, I'm a vegan, then you murder all animals in an unhumane way and you're going to die. Shut the fuck up, right? How much of a jackass do you have to be to your own self identity is based on what you eat to fuel the cells in your body? Like, take a step back and think about that shit. Think about that for the Kaepernick thing as well, or politics. I'm so, like, I don't know who I am that I identify as some asshole that's running for the presidency as a Democrat or a Republican. That doesn't give a shit about me, anyways. That's probably dirty, anyways, right? I don't know myself so much that I identify myself because I eat under amount of 20 grams of carbohydrates in a day. And that's me. I'm ketogenic. Hear me roar, right? Or I'm a vegan. Like, get some self-worth and find out who the fuck you are and stop identifying with what fuels your body. Like, that's crazy. That's like saying, hey, I'm a fruit cup in a high C. Yeah, sounds stupid, doesn't it? But people do this shit all the time and it's like accepted, right? And then everyone wants to be loud, like who's yelling the louder. I can't watch the internet, I can't watch the news and all this shit. I don't like, you know what? I want people to protest everything. Who gives a shit? Question everything, protest everything. That's America. That's an American flag behind me. I believe in people's freedoms, man. So giddy up. But everyone just wants to be louder, not making any sense. Just because you're loud doesn't mean you're right. It usually means you're an asshole. You know what I mean? It's like the guy that's hammered at the bar that's the loudest wanting to fight everybody's probably the biggest pussy in the room, right? So like people can't even demonstrate themselves and conduct themselves in a way, articulate themselves through a conversation to actually make a point and constitute a change. It's about I'm yelling, I'm doing this, shut it down, build the wall, whatever the fuck you want to say. That you're lost in noise and you're not smart and you're not noble. You're a dickhead. You know what I mean? Loud isn't right. But people think that way. And unfortunately, then you get clickbait, you get shot on YouTube, shot on news, and that gets all the play as the loudest asshole. Whatever. It's sad and it's pathetic. You know what I mean? And it's crazy that that's where we are. But, hopefully that changes. I would really wish it would all blow up and go back to the Stone Age and let's see what's up then, right? And also, guys, like, everyone's got such a big ego and part of their tribe and their side and so dug in that this is the way it is, right? There's no gray areas, it's this or that. And you just got to remember, other people can be right about stuff, right? Like when did that become such a foreign thought? That I'm like, when did everyone become the smartest person on the planet? If everyone was as smart as they thought I were, we'd have flying cars by now, and I wouldn't be pissed off that Back to the Future 2 lied to me, right? We wouldn't have disease that killed. We'd have flying cars. We'd all be living on Mars. It'd be like every awesome movie ever put together. But no, no one's as smart as they think they are, right? Because they think they're right. Well, other people can be right about stuff. Just put your ego in check. Shut the fuck up. Listen, and you might be getting along better. Someone could be right about, maybe a better way to do anything. a better way for health, a better way to live, a better way to love, a better way to be a parent, to be a brother, to be a sister, to be a lover, to be a dog dad, to be a dog mom, to be a patriot, to be a teacher, to be whatever your profession is. Like people can have, other people can be right, but you gotta, the caveat to that is you don't want to be a spineless jellyfish, and just everything you read on the internet, you think that's gold, and some asshole who doesn't cite anything that just puts something out there that's, the Bible. But you do have to be able to put your ego in check, listen to people's points, and if they're valid, feel free to take them and say, you know what, that makes sense. That's better. You know what I mean? Like, think about some technology just of things that we've had. Everyone uses Netflix, right? So we have agreed that's better than Blockbuster. That's why it doesn't exist anymore, right? So, like, if we can do that for movies, why can't we do that with anything? We can, we just choose not to because everyone thinks they're right, everyone thinks they're smart, everyone's got a big ego, everyone's part of a tribe, digging in, I'm right, you're wrong, fuck you, conflict. It's silly, and you can also change your mind. And I think this might go into part of the ego as well, is that you think once you've made a decision that that's it forever. Like I think about my dad, the most, and it's a very remarkable thing. So growing up, my dad was like crazy conservative. I'm talking like very right wing, very conservative about his political views, about everything, about the Second Amendment, about whatever. Like he was just very right wing. Nowadays, my dad is extremely liberal. You know what I mean? Like, doesn't like the current administration, looking for faults, like wears fucking tie-dyes and is chilling. And I think that is awesome. Not that he's gone that way from that way, but that he's able to change his mind. Right? You can change your mind if you identify as a Cubs fan, if you like a different baseball team one day, no one's gonna kill you. I mean, I'll bust your balls, but no one's gonna kill you. Right? If you think living the vegan path is the way to be, and then you eat a cheeseburger one day and realize this is fucking delicious and change your mind, no one's gonna come and kill you in your sleep. Like the vegan secret police aren't gonna get you. Right? If you have one thought in a political party and then something else happens, like, hey, I kind of like this, and you change your mind, it's not that big of a deal. That's why we were given these fucking crazy complex minds and brains to be able to have thought, to be able to weigh in different facts and search out for the facts and find different things to generate our own opinions that are unique to us. It doesn't have to be part of some other thought process of a big whole collective. We can be individuals. That's what America's all about. That's what the planet's about. We're lucky we're in a place where we're able to do that. No harm, no foul. It's crazy to me, right? Like you can go on Twitter and write like, hey, Trump, fuck you. That's the president of the United States, unfortunately or fortunately, however you look at it. But if you do that in some countries, people will come and kill you, right? But we take that kind of stuff for granted. I've changed my minds about lots of things, right? If you met me 10 years ago, I was a very different person with very different views, very different goals. My thought on life, my thought on the where you should go with your life or my life or what's right and what's wrong is extremely different to where I am now. It's not like my friends all hate me. I have the same dickhead buddies. I drank beers with a bunch of them yesterday. You know what I mean? I think what it does is it's made me better because I have more life, more knowledge, more experience. I've searched out things more where I can make a new opinion because my mind's open. It's free. I'm not just stuck in a way. Right? So I think there's like also the good and bad with that. Like sometimes if you have an old school thought, people are like, hey, it's not 1951 anymore. Yeah, but sometimes those old school thoughts are okay still. And I think that just because something's old doesn't mean it should change, but I also think that just because something's old doesn't mean it should stay. I think that everything should be, like Bruce Lee says, be like water. You should be able to adapt ideas, thoughts, things, right? Our political system clearly is fucked. We should be able to adapt and change that. Will we or won't we? I don't know. Right? All kinds of things are still crazy, though. And I think it's because we can't have conversations, right? We don't want to listen. We always go in with the end in mind. So I challenge you guys to all try something different. Free your mind, open your mind, discuss things. Don't be afraid to discuss things with people. And also, don't get offended by every little thing if someone has a different idea or a viewpoint. No one gives a fuck if you're offended. That's part of it. If I have a right to say something, you have a right to listen to it, right? And not be offended, and vice versa. Everyone's such a goddamn pussy these days that if you say something that rocks the status quo, especially if it's to, you know, the ideology that they're buying into, then all of a sudden you're X, Y, and Z. We need to get rid of that. That's a huge problem. You know? All people that think like that sooner or later are going to be in charge, right? So where are we living then? I don't know. In a place where it's going to be like, have you ever seen the movie Demolition Man? Right? Where like you can't even bang each other anymore. You got to wear weird things on your head because there's no touching. Every time you swear, a demerit comes out and you got to wipe your ass with seashells, right? I don't want that. I don't want where Taco Bell is the only restaurant left. I don't think anybody wants that, but that's where we're heading if people just can't listen or can't not listen, right? If we could just listen, have an open mind, not be offended by everything, be open to new ideas, have some tact when we speak to each other, have some goddamn respect for other human beings and their thought processes on things. What's the problem with this? There's no problem except we're fucking egomaniacs that think we're right, that think we're better, that want to justify everything. Here's something: no one gives a fuck about anything, right? Everyone's had injustices, yes, some more than the other, but who gives a shit? Let's figure it out. Shit is unfair. Yes. Does it suck? Absolutely. Right? But what are you going to do about it? That's life. What can we do about things? Right? Everything can't always be equal, but we have to live in a place where we can change that. Right? How many people, there's stories that were dealt a shitty hand and made it awesome? How many people were dealt an awesome hand and made it shitty? That's America. That's the beauty of it. It doesn't matter. What matters is how we run through it, what we do about it, how we respond to things, how we carry ourselves, and can we make a change? Can we do these things? It starts with a conversation. It starts with a free mind. It starts with respecting people. It starts with being open to the ideas that other people could be right, to pick and choose what you like, to not identify with an ideology of a fucking plant that you eat or a steak that you eat, not to be a sheep, to be your own person, to walk on your own. And I'm telling you, man, that's living. You know, as they say, be yourself. Everyone else is taken. That's my 2 cents on that. All right, till next time, man. Shut the fuck up. Listen. You'll be better off. Let's put it in the books.